For me, just to wrap it up, what I was convinced with was the portfolio exactly. Like I saw your work and I was like, okay, this is the kind of stuff they can do. This is the level of professionalism they put into it. You see it in the animation. But what we all here, like, we gave you the job and then we were still like, well, we'll see. I mean, we knew about power outages in Kyiv, like, well, hopefully it's going to be working fine. They said they're still working like normal, so let's hope they didn't lie to us. And then you guys started the base camp project with us. And we just like for a week, we were talking here on every internal status meeting. We're talking like, they're replying very fast. Like they're responding to us faster than we're used to with local productions. Like, seems like everything's fine with them because like we send something, we post something on Basecamp, and like 2 hours later we have a response or like a new render view. So that's the part that really surprised me in a positive way. That I was expecting a harsher ride to the finish line with you guys right now, to be honest. And so far it's very smooth sailing. So
good.
That's like
not gonna lie, it was quite difficult when these strikes on infrastructure started, like in the early October. So it was quite difficult. It was quite dire because it was not that much probably in Kyiv. And this is the capital city and stuff like that. So all the services they're trying to bring back light, but to our houses and stuff like that, but it interrupted us a bit. But as I've said, we've adapted, we've found different ways to have electricity, to have connection and stuff like that. And that's probably like from the start of November, everything went in more natural ways. So we basically, if before we had to catch up everything that we've missed, like in the night when we have electricity back or something like that. So right now we can work a regular working day. We just switch into to different sources and everything's fine. So
I would also add that I think that many people outside Ukraine imagine that whole Ukraine is on fire. Like it's like the war in whole country and so on. And yeah, we have the war status, but still the cities and the places are totally different in terms of safety, in terms of outages, situation, and so on. For instance, I'll give you this example. We have one of our project managers is a girl that escaped from Mariupol, and she was locked in Mariupol in the beginning of war. Like Mariupol was actively like being catched by Russians, and as soon as Russians captured the city, she and her neighbors and her relatives were being convinced by Russians that the whole Ukraine is already caught by Russia, and there is no sense to do anything. So you just already kept. As soon as she left Mariupol, like several weeks later, and came to Kyiv, she was so much surprised how big the lie was. And she really was sure that whole Ukraine is captured by Russia in several days. And so that's total apocalypse. But cities are different. Really, there are cities that are highly bombed. Other cities, not so much. And so it's really different situation.
The closer they are to the front line, that the worse the situation is. So yeah, right now regarding the big cities, so Kharkiv is under the attacks because it's very close to Russian border. So we with all our desire, we can destroy all this. They are in the vicinity of artillery fire, and thus it's quite difficult for us to negate this effect. Odessa is under fire because all their ships, they're trying to keep very, very far from our shores, but overall they make the strikes from the ships and stuff like that. And not to mention all the frontline cities, they're in quite difficult situation. But overall, people are striking, battling. People are striving. I want to tell, there is a fun story. I have a friend, a close friend. We were studying the university together, and he went to the army like from the get-go when the war started. He was among those people who like was skeptical, but he decided to go all these territorial defenses trainings and stuff like that. And when the war started, he went there. And he was quite surprised when we have these severe outages. He was at that point. He was in this like in Luhansk region. He stationed at and so I won't go into further details. But overall, he was there, like in the front line. In the and he was quite surprised because while we were sitting here with candles and with these like droplets of mobile internet and stuff like that, he was in Kramatorsk playing games, waiting for his before he was moving to the task. He was like there. He said that in Kramatorsk, when he was back here for a vacation in January, he said that he had there like 2 or 3 outages during the entire period. So as Yuri said, it's quite different situation. It doesn't mean that everything is bad somewhere, but overall the situation is quite different. To be completely honest, a lot of things changed, but they've changed for us, like more mentally and stuff like that. And also it depends on businesses. If we are talking about some heavy production or something like that regarding the materials and some real products and stuff like that, for sure it's more challenging than before. But if we are talking about some intellectual products that basically require you to have a bit something like a decent laptop and internet connection, it's much easier. So there is not that much that changed.